Welcome, everyone, to another rendition of The State of Anyone. Happy to have you guys all here. Obviously, through all market conditions, you know that the team is working hard. We haven't left you. We were built in the bear. You know, the market's going to go through many cycles. I know some of you guys have expressed frustration, not just about our token price, but the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum and all coins in general. But you have to sometimes let go of what is out of our control. And we here at Anyone are focusing on what's in our control. And that's why you see many projects that have completely abandoned ship or left or don't even update. You know, that's not what this project is built upon. We still think we're at the very early stages of what this could be. We're at the very early stages of disruption of the industry that we're going after. And privacy and the private internet is becoming more and more important, well beyond just the scope of crypto, but in mainstream issues. And we're seeing governments crack down across the world on literally daily internet usage and what you can visit and what you can visit without KYC. And this is going to become such an important project and infrastructure. Well beyond just crypto. That's why we're actively working behind the scenes on different pitch decks to come to investors, to monetize the network, to find equity, to find out ways that this can be so much greater than just a token price. And we want to know that we're going to protect the relay operators that are running these relays, even now potentially some of you guys at a small loss, that in the future there's going to be worth everything. And that's why some of the stuff today on the spaces that we're going to go over is where your role as a community, as a relay operator is really going to pull in. You know, now that staking is live, the whole point of staking is not just rewards, but to have governance over the network. So we're going to showcase our latest update with that. We're going to have some amazing guest speakers, as always, to talk about various things from privacy to building on the network, and even some of our own, newest team members have built cool, incredible tools. Uh, as always, there's so many positives and metrics that we can look at as a team, as a community. The relay count still keeps going up. The network's only getting stronger. The staking amount's only getting higher, and it's really great to see this journey happen. And these bear and bull market cycles happen, so we're all really not focusing on, oh, ETH is down or BTC is down. We're focusing on like what's it going to be like as crypto adoption becomes more and more, as our network adoption becomes more and more, and as we gain more and more relay operators, more and more stakers, more and more users, what this network could really become and show how much greater we are than all the comparisons out there. So I'll give it back to Neurotic, and here we go.
Thank you very much, Anon. Indeed. There's, I would say, two themes to today's spaces. And thank you for all of you who are still here, still pushing, still helping, and still attending and giving your presence in spaces like these. It makes all the difference. I think we know how strong our community is. And even if we remain in a sort of prolonged down or quiet period for crypto, I think these advantages are only going to have a greater chance to shine further. We all know from the origin story of Ator that as attention dies down, attention, whatever remains, gravitates towards a project that preserve hope for people and build something with a chance of not just being a strong project in its own right, but actually representing the entirety of the crypto industry. And for those of you who have been here a long time, you'll know it was always our goal to build something that creates that lasting impression, something that creates this lasting impression for the entire industry that we're in. There are, so as I said, two main themes I would say to the spaces today. The first is in empowering this community more and more through 2026 and beyond. And we'll talk about some specifics around governance, around staking, and around supporting incubations and tech on top of the network as part of that. And the other half of this is in making longer term and larger horizon moves for the project that allows us to continue building no matter what the conditions, and also positions us in a way to have as big an impact as possible. And under both of those themes, there are going to be a range of speakers today, some familiar faces and some actually completely new. And I'm hoping that both of those will be a source of satisfaction for us all here today. So to kind of kickstart straight into some action, let's talk about governance. We know that that's been a part of the roadmap for a long time. And indeed, many of the moves we've been making towards building up our stack, getting the protocol ready, releasing mainnet, releasing staking, has all been part of a vision that eventually enables us as a community to have control over and empower our network. I'm actually going to share my screen here immediately. It should be here visible now, giving a preview of the change coming to the protocol and change coming to the dashboard very soon. So soon, in fact, that you can see it right here on the stage version of our dashboard. You may notice something a little different in the top right corner. It's the governance toggle. For those of you who don't know how this mechanism will work, any holder who is staking tokens or just running relays has the opportunity to enable what we call governance mode. And it was an important thing for us that users opt into this. This isn't something for every holder, but if you're here, if you understand the vision, you have a longer term outlook and you believe in what we're doing, this is your explicit and concrete opportunity to be able to vote on the future of the protocol. And so with this governance toggle, when you sign this transaction on the hodler contract, it'll essentially extend your unstake times. It will extend your relay unlock times from, say, 7 days, which it currently is to unstake, to 30 days. And if you're willing to essentially put your tokens, put your money where your mouth is, and make this longer term decision, it unlocks every staked token you have staked before or will stake after that point. All those staked tokens represent voting power in our snapshot governance. What we have here is not the final governance page, but it's a very close emulation of it, created directly in Snapshot, and it uses your staked tokens if you're part of governance as a direct proxy to vote. So here, just as sort of a simple preview of how that looks, we have a test governance proposal, although I'm hoping if we ran this for real, the answer would be yes. The voting power is based on your stake tokens if you're part of a governance, and anyone can go in. You can even put your comments in, share votes. You may not be able to see my wallet because it's a separate pop-up, but you can go ahead and vote on these proposals. The transition to bigger control for governance, bigger control for holders will be a multi-stage one. We already have facets of the protocol that we are ready to open up to community governments. For example, things like defending against malicious relay families. If enough people vote on a relay family not following the rules, or maybe running multiple families while being one person, things that you can sort of empirically have evidence on and build a case for, those are functions that we want to open up to governance sooner rather than later. And then for larger, more protocol-wide or longer-term decisions, we will have different voting thresholds and different levels of participation needed for these votes to go ahead. And that's something that will be flexible and grow. But I think the direction and the trajectory is very clear. As we look, as things potentially slow down for a little while in the crypto ecosystem, one thing we want to come away from and be stronger at is truly being community run. So I hope that demo, I'll show the dashboard again in the first tab, made that clear. Here it is, governance has been enabled. And then you have the link to the snapshot governance page, and that's coming, or that's ready to go. And that's one of the sooner updates we have to push as well. And just as another quick development update, you may see another small thing that's here on the stage dashboard and not on your dashboard. It's the Hyperbeam toggle. And we're continuing to keep parity with the updates and improvements being made by Arweave, which is one of the backbones of our protocol alongside Ethereum. And we will be opening up Hyperbeam, which will make the dashboard even quicker and even easier to use as well. So that's one of the bigger facets of community engagement. I have a little bit more on tech updates and a little bit more on some cool things the community is building. But before that, I'd like to change track a little bit. We've been talking about our protocol and decentralized governance there. But if our wonderful and surprise guest speaker is ready, we may have a different track entirely. Here we have Andy. It's not just any Andy. This is Andy from the Ethereum Foundation, specifically the PSE group, which now oversees a lot of the privacy research and development done and supported by the Ethereum Foundation. It was wonderful to meet Andy at ETH Denver, and even better to have him here just to say a few general words about what the Ethereum Foundation is looking at, particularly around privacy and some of the directions they're going. So, Andy, if you want to do a quick mic check with me, and honestly, feel free to speak about anything about the work you're doing or at the Ethereum Foundation.
Hey, hello. Can you hear me?
Yep,
Just
sounds
checking.
great.
So cool. Yeah, it was great meeting in person. When was it? Last week? And just wanted to jump and say that it is, and I cannot speak for the whole Ethereum Foundation, right? This is my point of view and how I see the work that we do as a team. Is like, in order to really solve privacy on Ethereum and privacy in the world, we need to think holistically in all the layers of the stack where users and user information and metadata touches, right? So there's great teams already pushing on-chain privacy, privacy in transactions, privacy with identity, on all these other use cases and areas. But yeah, the work that teams like anyone and others can do at the networking layers, relayers, infrastructure, um, metadata level privacy is also key. So I just wanted to encourage to experiment to help to make these systems more secure, how to increase the strength of it, how to also make sure we're profiling the right use cases and technical loads, and even see how can we benchmark and tap into some of these like networking level privacy towards unlocking other type of use cases, right? So it's not only a private transaction and how do we hide all this data, but really all online activity. That's basically how I see things, right? So if I were to divide it, the app layer, the wallets, the um, the gateways, relayers, RPCs, etc. Then transfers with the mempools and on-chain privacy and the consensus level privacy. All of these kind of like cross-cutting is that networking. So I think there's just like we need to harden all of these layers. We need to make them private, and for that, hopefully we see like a flourishing ecosystem of teams and approaches that each with its own trade-offs that can like cover and tap and move the needle forward with the use case and adoption. I don't know if is there anything else you would like to chat?
No, sure. I mean, I thought that covered it superbly, and that was exactly. It was very very exciting to speak to you in Denver. Maybe taking a bit of a step back with how things have been with the Ethereum Foundation. In our early days, in the heady days of 2023 and 2024, there was a slight feeling of misalignment for us on chain, fair launched grassroots projects, and I still think we have a way to go in this class of projects having the as much attention and support as they can, especially when they are building something real. But we have seen market uh, more presence from the ETH Foundation, which has been wonderful to see. Abbas, who from the ETH Foundation, deserves a great shout out for including us in the Founder Success Program over in
Mm-hmm.
Buenos Aires last year. Binji, who became our mentor as part of that success program, has been fantastic. And then being connected to Andy and the whole PSC team and seeing the genuine openness towards considering the whole tech stack has really, really been wonderful to see. I'm sure, Andy, on your side, it has been a conscious push to make use of all the resources available in this wonderful ecosystem. And I think, big things seem to be coming out of it already.
Yeah, good to hear. I did feel that there was a big like dunk and like regulation uncertainty and fears for like a lot of people in this space whenever all these tornado cash things happen. And in the last 3 4 years, so the kind of like the real privacy builders kind of continue flowing through, but I do see like demand has picked up a lot in the last especially 2 years, and just uh, a lot more openness and even just awareness of the importance. So it does feel like a re-energized ecosystem and community of privacy builders on Ethereum, on adjacent, and I think it's very encouraging, I will say. And one of the arguments that I say to a lot of people is like privacy is a table stakes for adoption. Like we won't build, this future of like crypto-based world if we don't have privacy. And if we do, then we built the worst surveillance mechanism in the world, which will be terrible. But this is table stakes for payments, for like small and medium businesses. This is table stakes for enterprises, and this is table stakes for users, right? For stablecoin, whatever payments or DeFi and everything. So yeah, I think it's very important. I think there's more energy, and I just want to see more teams like yours and others like flowing through it and getting adoption, moving the needle.
Definitely. And I guess as a kind of final word or takeaway, a lot of the community, I could imagine, sees the ETH Foundation as this kind of big monolith and maybe a little inaccessible. What's a great place, what's a resource for them to follow or keep track of to see some of the developments being made and maybe even get involved themselves? Any sort of takeaways for our community?
Yeah, definitely. So we're not that many, so that's why sometimes it's harder to kind of like just meet and kind of interact. I will say that we are a community of teams. So even within the EF, different teams have different priorities and different ways to be accessed and interact with the ecosystem. And I think that's fine. Makes it a bit confusing for people, but it is fine. And my team particularly, we do focus a lot on research and development for privacy primitives, coordination, pushing through, trying to support like product teams and protocol teams, but also trying to build more like longer term understanding of the space and like advocating for standards or advocating for, I don't know, primitives that we might need on lower levels of the stack. So saying that, people can follow like our X account privacy at privacy Ethereum. That is PSE account, and PSE stands for Privacy Stewards of Ethereum, by the way. And also they can visit pse.dev. That is our website where we publish all of our work, including like research, development, coordination, blog posts on how we see the space. We do things on the GPU level hardware. We do things at the kind of like standards for identity. We do things like, yeah, layer one precompiles proposals or like research proposals as well. So yeah, it's varied our work, and these are just some ways, and some other teams at the end will have other ways. So yeah, just sharing a few.
Well, that sounds great. And yeah, once people dive in, they'll just see how much there is to follow and how much developments are to come. So I want to thank you again very much, Andy, for making a cameo here in the spaces. We'll have our own write-up and thread and so on, summarizing some of the things you said and giving those follow-up links to our own community. And yeah, hopefully this won't be the last time we collaborate here on a space, and certainly not the last time we collaborate together as teams. So thanks again. Wish you an amazing afternoon, and rest of the day, and hope you enjoy the rest of the spaces.
Likewise. Have a great one. Enjoy. Bye.
Thanks again. That was Andrew Guzman from Privacy Stewards of Ethereum, in fact, the head of the PSE group, speaking to us after we had a great in-person meeting over at ETH Denver and some earlier correspondence before that. So let's first be right back from large institutions, from the Ethereum Foundation, right down to some of the community members and some of the community projects that really make us a unique ecosystem. This is a voice you've heard before. I'm calling in the DeBros core team.
Hello, everyone. We want to thank the Anyone team for letting us one more time be part of the State of the Anyone. And this time we'll have bigger updates, and they are directly correlated with the Anyone protocol. Some of you might have seen the Anyone browser extension, which is the browser extension which was showcased the last time on the State of the Anyone, but this time we have an updated Anyone extension version 2 with more features and a redesign. And finally, it is published on the official Google Chrome web store. So you can install it directly without having to go on GitHub. And I think this is a big step for privacy in general, because right now, for anybody, it's very easily to actually use this extension and stay anonymous online. And it is open source as well, so you can find the code on GitHub. everything we do is built on top of the Anyone protocol. And just like we spoke about it last time, ANSAT, the privacy-first messenger we have, is finally finished. And what we mean by that is that you can download the APK right now for Android and Graphene OS through our official website, ANSAT.io, and it's going to be released very soon on test flight for iOS and for Android. So this is going to be in the next
we
few.
have the settings page. We're going to take a look at.
Sorry, jump the gun. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it's going to be released officially on the test flight for iOS and on Android on the official Google Play Store in the next few days. But for now, anybody can actually download it through ANSAT.io from the APK link. And I want to mention a few things here is that ANSAT is a fully working, decentralized, end-to-end encrypted messenger, which means you can actually have video calls and voice calls. It's fully end-to-end encrypted. It uses the Anyone protocol at its core, so all of your requests are proxied through there, so there are no IP leaks. And at the infrastructure level, we are using Orama Network, which is actually an AWS alternative and competitor we've actually created. It's decentralized compute and storage. And at its core, again, it's using the Anyone protocol. So ANSAT right now, it's also blockchain agnostic. It means that you can actually log in with your EVM or Solana wallets. And for now, it's only accessible for DeBros NFT holders. And we hope that we see everybody inside the ANSAT because we have groups in there, public groups for DeBros, anyone, and you can have private conversations, private groups, and everything regarding a regular messaging app. And I have to say that everything, it's end-to-end encrypted, means that everything is encrypted on device. So everything that leaves your device, it's encrypted. So we can't even see your messages or your requests or anything. There is zero telemetry and zero logs. And with that move, we want to push forward privacy for everybody and bring forward a new messaging application that it's actually secure and private and doesn't hide what the users, what we do with users' data. And the thing is that Orama Network and infrastructure is completely open source, so you can actually go and see for yourself the code, and that makes it even more trustworthy to use. These are the two biggest updates we have, the Anyone extension and ANSAT. And again, we want to thank the Anyone team for being part of this state of the Anyone.
Awesome. Thank you very much for the update. It's good to see, some things going from ideation all the way through to actual release. We know how hard it is to deal with entities like Google with their Play Store, and even Apple. It's not straightforward to release privacy apps there. So, and of course, Google Play for Android apps as well. So to have a live extension and to have now an APK that people can test is great. I think we do have 1 minute, so I'm going to play the video you supplied me, showing concretely some of the tech that's possible with the Anyone network.
Then we have the settings page. We're going to take a look at those pages in a bit. Now I'm going to go on the friends page and I'm going to add a new friend. Let's add Nokomuro and we're going to start a chat. When we start a chat, we're going to say a hello message. And I have to say here, everything is end-to-end encrypted. So right now, everything is encrypted on device. So let's send a friend request. Yeah, we have one pending request. As you can see here, we can cancel that request as well. And here on the other device, we can see that we have received a chat request from anybody. Let's accept it, decline it, or block it. You can decline or block the user as well. We're going to accept it for now. And now We are inside the conversation. We can see it right here. And now we can communicate. I'm mentioning again that everything is end-to-end encrypted. As you can see on the top here, we have a status indicator. It's either online or offline.
Wonderful. That's it's a live app. It's usable, and it is without saying one level better than Telegram and even than Signal, having many of the same security properties. The Signal has around end-to-end encryption, but utilizing the Anyone network for the added network level privacy, hiding of location, hiding of metadata. Messaging is obviously a great area in which the Anyone network is quite well suited, and but it's really just one of many applications. So thank you again for that demo and showing off what's possible.
One more thing to say here is that of course it's a huge challenge for Apple and Android to actually publish an app, but after a lot of trouble, it's going to be possible. And it is a closed beta, which means it's going to have bugs, but it's an actual demonstration. It's actually usable to show people how they can actually communicate privately. And we expect people's feedback to give us their opinion on bugs they find or anything new, any new feature they want to add. And one more thing I want to mention here is that we are working on the social part of the application as well, which means ANSAT, it's for now in the light version, which means it's only for messaging, and you can, of course, have video calls. But we are internally working on a new version, which is going to be the public release of ANSAT, which is going to be a social application as well. Just like X, you are going to be able to have posts and create spaces and do comments. So it's a social messaging app. It's not only a messaging app. And this is a huge milestone, I think, when we are going to reach it, having a fully decentralized and secure social networking application working hand-to-hand with Anyone protocol. So we're going to work really hard on this. We want your support, and we expect in the next few months to release the social part of the application as well. And of course, with everybody's support on the feedback on ANSAT, everything is going to improve much faster, and we're going to move a lot faster.
Cool, wonderful, and thanks again. And we will eagerly await those app updates. In fact, I want to make a broader point here about the idea. This even give me a cool background. Community tools and what's possible. We know that there's been incredible innovation here on the app side, but also many of you are relay operators, and maybe knowingly or unknowingly, you guys are making innovations and approaching problems creatively every day and figuring out how to boost our network and make it more powerful, to have more exit nodes than the Tor network, and to have the network scale we have is incredible. It's a testament to all of you guys. And there's one builder and one relay operator in particular who I think deserves a little bit of attention of his own. Many of you in the community, especially in Telegram, will know Robert or Robbie Hall, who is not only one of our largest operators, but also has been creating tool after tool that uses the Anyone network and helps relay operators. You'd have seen the operators tool at operators.anyone.me, which lets you look and compare relay operators, maybe help drive your decisions around staking. But there's another cool side project of his that uses Anyone that he wanted me to show here on the space today, which I absolutely would love to. I'm currently sharing screen now with a video supplied from Robert of what we're calling for now the Anyone stick. We all know about the Anyone hardware router. It's a little beefy because it runs as both a relay and protects your privacy. But for something a little more on the go, a little more portable and a little more lightweight, here is essentially the setup page for something that can run on a Raspberry Pi Zero, a considerably smaller and lighter device. I'll let the video play twice in case you miss anything while I talk over it. It lets you do things like select your exit country, select your relays. It can create a proxy that you can route through directly from your own computer, and with the right plugins, with the right antenna, can even go ahead and create a private Wi-Fi signal, all while running on the power that just comes out of the 5 volts on the side of your computer. So, I can already picture the possibilities here, whether you're in a cafe, whether you're in an airport, you just have the small device with you, plug it into your computer, and make full use of the Anyone network. What I really find powerful about this, and what I really like to see here, is that it actually makes full use of the Anyone SDK. We've been working very hard behind the scenes on building out our SDK to give developers the full configurability that our network provides. And some of the features here are things that have recently been released in our own SDK. So if you scroll down a little bit lower to the bottom of this video demonstration, you'll see you can even do things like select 2-hops. And 2-hop routing isn't available in any of our apps yet, but it is there in the latest version of our SDK. And we're already hearing just how much faster it makes it. In addition to choosing your own exits, choosing the number of circuits you can run, the new SDK is really, really powerful. Yuri couldn't join us today, who's been the developer taking the lead on that, but he'll certainly speak in the future as to what the new SDK enables. But it's that was the kind of the big blocker on the next stage of releasing the desktop VPN, but that's also been unblocked now. There's some really, really exciting apps that are made possible by the SDK that are on the horizon. I think the Anyone Stick and related apps is going to be amazing. And the future is really, really bright when smart people are empowered and capable of making the apps that they want to see in the world. I think that's exactly the vision we wanted to have for Anyone. So we'll have a tweet, of course, and have some previews, and you can speak to Robert yourself. He's very accessible here in the Telegram to hear more and find out more about that. But it's really cool to see multiple teams and multiple individuals in parallel building tools that they believe in. So we'll have a very brief word perhaps from a voice that some of you may not have heard for some time. I thought we would give our beloved community member DNB a few seconds to say a few words here to us. DNB, if you're able to speak.
Are you able to hear me?
Yep, sounds loud and clear.
Yeah, I think it's really good. Andy, whoever this is from eFoundation, it's great that you're actually supporting projects publicly that bootstrap the Ethereum network. Maybe call out Tor project and actually promote projects that care about Ethereum and actually add value to Ethereum, and Anyone/ATOR ticks all those boxes. I'm glad that eFoundation is starting to sort of try to survive, and you need to understand that this project that you've had the opportunity to speak in front of is like the bread and butter of Ethereum. On a second note, and apologies about the background noise, I also want to say, like, everyone who's like salty about price action, including myself, look, markets bounce. Like, if you can't handle the dips, you don't deserve the rips. I've had the personal opportunity to meet some of these team members personally, and I trust them, right? So, like, it's pretty good. We are promoting open source technology. We are utilizing blockchain technology, and we're bootstrapping Ethereum technology. What I will say is this: price action always brings drama. It's just bullshit. It's part of the cycles. But I do think it's very encouraging that eFoundation, Andy, is you're trying to modernize. I think it's really good. We have a bigger and larger network, bandwidth-wise, relay-wise, community-wise. Not yet active user-wise, but like code is good. The Anyone team, like you see Neurotic going and connecting with people and meeting people. You know, it's potentials of a blue chip. And I'll say one last thing. The governance move is good. Everyone has very strong opinions, and I've tried to stay out of it. But I do think, okay, you got an opinion? build the business use case for it, and then throw some tokens behind it, right? So we sort of want that sort of encouragement, like that. That's what we want.
This is a community sentiment that I think deserves to be heard. I mean, I want to thank DNB for his energy and for his passion. Obviously, DNB here is a fiery member of the community. He feels strongly about the background we had with Tor, and that's not a story that we're going to shy away from. And that's one of the changes that we are making here as an organization. Even calling DNB here on the space, we shouldn't forget the centralization and the decision making by the Tor project that actually led us down this path. But ultimately, it's put us in a stronger place than ever. I think we're moving towards a future now where we can be pragmatic. We can show off, not necessarily purely ideologically, but also through technology, through our progress, through the integrations we can make, and through the apps we can enable, that there are better solutions out there, and we can build applications that are specifically tailored towards the needs individuals have in a way that is truly decentralized, in a way that's truly people-powered. And as DNB very rightfully said, if you have an opinion on how we build going forward, how we want this protocol to go, the applications we want to support, the direction our development goes, you now have a voice. Whether you want to be as ruthless and attacking as DNB, whether you want to put your head down and build, we want to enable all voices. And I think the community and the community's energy is what makes us special. And it's something you don't see in every project. So I want to thank DNB for speaking. I do apologize for cutting him off, but there you have it. We've had a range of formal tech updates, governance demonstration. We've had some community tech, and we had some wonderful guest speakers on very far ends of the spectrum in terms of being institutional. Maybe we'll meet here in the middle for a speech by Anon Morpho to kind of take us to the closing.
Yeah, I think the big takeaway that we from the space and from the project in general is, we started off a Tor and we saw what they did, and we've taken all the great things of their protocol and we've added all the things we wish to see. And now it's actually becoming reality. We're actually implementing all these amazing things that can make this network community driven, actually make this community relay driven. Instead of it just being volunteers or taking advantage of from an organization, we are doing every step in the direction of making this run by you guys. We don't want to be in charge, Neurotic and I making all decisions. The whole point of this is to be a decentralized, fully functioning network. That's the whole reason we built on Ethereum in the first place, was to take advantage of the security of the network, of this DAO votes, of governance, and letting this thing run. And literally, we're going to beat them at the punch. All of us obviously were very upset about Tor and what this could have been, but now we're going to show them firsthand. We're going to make ETH acknowledge us, make this the network that they choose. And it's not going to be because of me and Neurotic. It's not going to be because of DNB. It's going to be because of all of you guys showing the passion with your actual actions, running these relays, using the network, and showing that this is the number one privacy network in the entire world. We are going to not have backdoors like these other companies. We're not going to have government funding. We're funded by ourselves and by you guys. And the proof is in the pudding. And it's a really exciting time, despite whatever's happening with the price action in crypto. Our network keeps growing, and eventually we're going to be the ultimate take-home winners. So again, we thank you all for your time. We always appreciate how much effort and energy and the community has given this project. Most projects don't last 3 days, much less 3 years. And we're going to keep going to make this a bedrock of the future of crypto, privacy, and Ethereum. Thank you guys all for your time.